Hey, what is up, guys? I obviously have changed the format, have changed some things about the setup, so that's a little bit obvious. But if you can't tell, the audio is so much clearer. Yeah. So in case you didn't notice, yeah, we are trying something a little bit different. By we, I mean me. But yeah, today we are going to be talking about a movie that just came out and I had the pleasure of seeing, called Us.
What are you people?
It's us.
They look exactly like us. They think like us. They know where we are. We need to move and keep moving. They won't stop until they kill us. Or we kill them.
Be careful.
Oh, detective. You assume it's the real me standing in front of you. But maybe that's just what I want you to think.
If you guys haven't heard of Us, well, I think everyone and their grandma and their grandma's dog has seen this movie. And if you haven't seen it, then you're probably familiar with the director, Jordan Peele, from Key and Peele. And also, yeah, he made that movie that came out recently called Get Out. And that one took the world by storm. So if you guys haven't seen Us, his follow-up, just know that it's a highly anticipated horror film by that director. And yeah. Does it live up to its predecessor, Get Out? We'll get into that. Before we get into that, I would just like to say that this movie itself is entirely its own thing. So if you have any prior notions, just know that you're in for a completely different ride than Get Out. So knowing that, you should just be kind of prepared for a different experience. And boy, was I surprised by this experience, because I really liked this movie. I really liked Us a lot, and I really liked the directions that it took. But if you were to compare both Get Out and Us, then I think that would be a little bit unfair, like I said before, because these are two entirely different movies and two different experiences. And this one definitely leans a lot more into the horror genre and less into the commentary on the state of the US and its relationship with black people. If you're expecting a movie that is like Get Out and that relies heavily on its commentary and comedy, well, just know that this movie has those elements, but it's not relying on that, and it's not something that drives the narrative. It's actually a lot more attuned to a classic horror film, and it also goes in very strange directions, which are controversial because, well, if you are a person who loves getting all your answers in a tight little neat present, then this movie might not provide you that satisfaction, but it will be one hell of a ride, and it will leave you with questions. But sometimes people like questions unanswered, and if you're in that ballpark where you like that, then by all means go watch this movie a few times, because you will be scratching your head like I was. Now, some of the things that I really liked about this movie is the way that it was directed. I really feel like Jordan Peele really got a grasp of his directing style and really made this movie his own. From the way that everything is shot and from the way shadows are portrayed in this movie, it's just a dream to watch. Everything you see with the characters, the fear in their eyes, and the way that they're lit, it's just so tonally perfect. And I think that's something that Jordan Peele from Get Out really got to take a handle of this time in this movie, and it really pays off. Like I said before, Get Out was a very great movie, and if I had to choose one that I enjoyed over the other, I would probably say Get Out, but let that not be something that gets in the way of your experience of this movie. Not saying this movie is bad at all by any means. It is a fantastic movie, but if I had to say a movie that I would revisit, I would definitely say I would prefer Get Out over this one. That being said, the cinematography in this is a step up. Like I said before, Jordan Peele really knows how to work his camera now, and whoever is the cinematographer behind this film, kudos, because you made some very memorable shots, and yeah, it just really adds to the movie. It really adds to the overall grim nature of it, and also adds to the humor too sometimes. And If you like rabbits, well, boy, you're gonna love this movie. Going into the performances, Lupita Nyong'o definitely kills it. She is the shining star of this movie, but let her performance not overshadow Winston Duke, who is a national treasure and is probably one of the best human beings on earth.
I'd eat Winston Duke's ass like an almond joy. I want to cook him breakfast, and I hate cooking. Wow. Well, is this gonna make it on air?
Lupita Nyong'o manages to capture dread, and her performance is so nuanced that, without saying any spoilers or anything, she portrays duality very well in her character. And like all these other characters, they are facing their doppelgangers, so they all each have to play their own, I guess, reverse side of their coin, and they have to play off of that, and they have to be complete opposites, and I think every single one of them kills it. I think the kids were amazing. I don't know their names, but I think they completely sold this performance, and they were completely into their characters. And I think that's something that you have a fear of when it comes to child actors. You feel like they're not going to completely get what they're going for. They're just going to read the lines, and man, these guys, they're amazing. So Jordan, great job finding these kids. But yeah, Lupita Nyong'o and Winston Duke are definitely one of the shining performances, and they're very enjoyable to watch, and they have very great chemistry. And it's just fun to see, you know, a family that seems like a family. They seem like they have the dynamics down, and they seem like they are actually working together to figure out what is going on. But then the story kicks in, and the plot kicks in, and the twists kick in, and that's when the movie itself fails to kind of grab the audience, and it really tries to answer questions, but those answers leave up more questions, and that's when things get a little bit messy. That being said, Winston Duke, Lupita Nyong'o, and the two children, they just have very great chemistry, and that really shows in their performances. I think that the movie really relies on their performances because they have to completely play the opposite of each other in their own performance. They have to be portraying this duality, and I think that's something that really shows, and I was surprised to see that the kids did it and pulled it off really well. The one thing that this movie has going for it overall, I would say, is the tone. And I think this movie just makes you feel nervous the entire time, because after seeing Get Out, you expect, you know, okay, there's going to be some hints of comedy. There's going to be little things about commentary. So it's going to have you, I don't know, it's going to lift you up and bring a little bit more levity. But this entire movie, I was holding my breath at times, and I didn't even realize it. And I think that's something that Jordan really captured in this movie, was that sense of dread, that sense of not knowing what's coming next, and being completely intrigued and interested in the next step and finding out these answers. That being said, when we get into the twists, and when we get into finding the answers, and when we get into discovering some of the past of some of these characters that show up, then you get into territory where it's a little bit muddled. It could be a little bit messy, but for myself, and seeing some of the twists coming, I was not taken out of it at all. I loved the experience. I thought this was a joyous ride, and I'm not a big horror guy, but man, I could not keep my eyes off this movie. It was just so beautifully shot, so well acted, and the themes that were there, and they were great to watch on screen. You really understood some of the metaphors and symbolism, but the things that you didn't understand did not take it away. I myself really enjoyed this movie for what it was, and I could go into deeper things, but that would be spoilers, and I really feel like this is a movie you should just go in, not know any of the interpretations, not know any of the hidden messages. Just go in and know that you are not going to be disappointed, and if you are disappointed, then I can understand why. But just look at the filmmaking, look at the spectacle that he created, and just know that no one really makes horror like this anymore. No one takes the horror genre and tries to make it interesting and invigorate it with some life and some, I don't know, I guess you could say something new that you haven't seen before. And if you guys want something that's easy to digest, if you guys want something that you can pop in and expect to find all the answers by the end of the movie, this is not that movie. But this is definitely nothing short of a great addition to Jordan Peele's filmography, and I am so excited to see what he has in store next, and I'm excited to see what he brings to the horror genre. And man, did you know the guy is going to be hosting and going to be directing the new Twilight Zone series? That is just that's just amazing. It's perfect, because I think Jordan Peele is an idea guy. He is slowly starting to get his heels dug into the ground, and he's starting to really push off and create new things that we haven't seen before. And he's doing it with, black characters. He's doing it with people that he's familiar with, that he knows, and he's making it normal. He's normalizing the black family. He's normalizing the black male lead. He's normalizing these things, and it's so nice to see and so refreshing, because I remember after watching the movie Searching starring John Cho, I was so happy to see just an Asian male lead completely normalized in the movie. It wasn't a thing. There wasn't a lot of press about it. There wasn't a lot of, oh, this is an Asian man and his name is David Kim and he's from Korea. Like, it was just a guy who couldn't find his daughter and he needed answers. And it was a story that we're familiar with, done in a very unique way, done with a face that I'm familiar with, a face that, I never thought in the next decade I would see an Asian male lead character in a movie like this, but I saw that. And to say that what Jordan Peele is doing for the black community, it's a very cool thing to see, and it's very refreshing, and it's just delightful. And I'm not saying that this makes the movie better, but it's just doing it. It's that simple act of putting representation into movies that makes movies feel just a little bit different. But it doesn't make a movie necessarily better or worse. It's just a nice little thing for people. And overall, man, did I enjoy Us. And holding it up to Get Out is such a big thing to do, because it's sort of unfair. But I would say gladly that this movie is a huge recommendation. Please go see it. If I had to put a number on it, I would probably say that this movie is a solid 8.8 out of 10. I really enjoyed this movie, and I recommend you go see it immediately. And go see this movie. And if you guys enjoyed it, please let me know what you guys thought about the movie down in the comments below. Please leave a like, subscribe to my channel if you are new, and also just leave your ideas or theories in the comments below, but do disclose if they are spoilers. So yeah, you guys know how to do that. So I will see you guys later.